Namaste and welcome to Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. This is Yamajit. Thank you so very much for joining me for our Tuesday satsang. Tonight I'm doing something a little bit different from what I originally announced. I was going to begin a new series called Kali for Everyone. That will begin next week. Instead, I had a revelation yesterday morning that I needed to do a mantra meditation for the goddess Sheetala, and specifically for the measles outbreak that is currently happening. I want to start with a couple of announcements. So this coming Friday at 7 p.m. will be our monthly Cho meditation for the healing of the collective shadow. And I'll be sharing with you the concise severance ritual of Dojam Lingpa. This is a Troma Nagmo based Cho practice. And then in preparation for the new series that we will begin next week, I'm going to pan the camera down. Part of what we're going to be learning in this series is some basic puja practice. And so some objects you would like that you might want to have in order to do the pujas along with me would include some kind of a water pot and spoon. I'm using a skunda from Nepal, which is combined with a lamp. But what you choose to use can be something as simple as this, just a bowl and a small spoon. You'll want some kind of candle holder, an incense holder as well, like this clay one I have. Small bottle of perfume oil. Sandalwood or musk are very appropriate, but choose a scent that works for you, especially something that you're not allergic to. A mala of 108 beads. Flowers to offer. Some kind of food item to offer. And if you can, some kind of Divine Mother image as well. So I'm really looking forward to this series. We're going to begin on a short presentation about really where it all began, the Indus River Valley civilization in northern India. And we'll be moving on to celebrating different forms of Ma Kali and her mantra and a basic puja. So I think you'll really enjoy this upcoming series. So I want to say something about the goddess Sheetala. This is more of a northern Indian or Tibetan or Nepali image. She's also pictured in many modern illustrations like this one here. In both cases, she's riding upon a donkey. In this old image, she's holding a skull cup and a sword. She's also very similar to a Tibetan deity called Palden Lamo. And then we also see Sheetala holding both a broom and a water pot, and these are symbolic of purity. But Sheetala was a goddess figure who was called upon during times of smallpox outbreaks. And of course, we have fortunately eradicated smallpox from the human population due to vaccination. And so nowadays she is called upon in events such as the measles outbreak, in cases of childhood diseases. And we can also call upon her for other concerns in this area, which might include the bird flu outbreak, which is becoming a concern as well. I'd like to mention that with the goddess Sheetala, India itself has a rather interesting history when it comes to smallpox. So in ancient India, the first form of immunization was discovered, a process called variolation. And what this process involved was taking the dried scabs from smallpox pustules, grinding them into a fine powder, placing some of that powder into a hollow reed. That reed would then be, one end of the reed would be placed in the nostril of a patient, and the powder blown into the nostril. And what the result would be is hopefully the subject would suffer a very, very mild case of smallpox resulting from having taken in a weakened virus. And then the person would be rendered immune from smallpox from that point on. In the 1700s, there was an English noblewoman named Lady Montagu, and she had suffered from smallpox in her younger days, had been somewhat disfigured from it. She was visiting India with her husband and discovered the variolation technique and brought it back to Europe, and it became very popular in early to mid 18th century Europe. And in fact, that was the standard prevention for smallpox in Europe until the English physician Edward Jenner discovered that people living in the countryside working with cattle had a very low incidence of smallpox. And so he discovered that a similar disease called cowpox, if a person was infected with that, a very mild would be a very mild infection in humans that rendered the person immune from smallpox. And it was from that discovery that the first true form of vaccination was discovered. So tonight's mantra practice is coming from the desire to perform an act of compassion. It's very easy for a lot of us in this day and age to criticize people who are anti-vaccination, and I think instead we need to come at this issue with compassion for the children who are suffering from measles at this time and their families, and also to express the wish that people surrounding these areas where measles is broken out, that they get the necessary information that they need at this time as well. So, Jai Ma Sheetala, Jai Ma Sheetala, Jai Ma Sheetala Devi. So I invite you to take a comfortable seated position where you can look at your screen and our meditational image with a relaxed gaze. And let's begin by breathing deeply. Breathing deeply, letting go of the distractions and the causes and the and all the issues of the day, the concerns of things that have happened, or those concerns of things that need to happen. Breathing those away with each exhalation. And as we breathe in, breathing in an increased sense of relaxation, a feeling of peace. And taking a moment to express the intention that we are doing this meditation tonight for the relieving of suffering in our fellow human beings. relief in the suffering of those who are currently suffering from measles, expressing the desire that they are restored to full health. A relief of the suffering of their families. And thinking as well of the people living in those regions that are affected right now. Expressing the hopes that they receive the information that they need so that they and members of their families, those closest to them, can be safe at this time. An expression of the desire for wisdom in our leadership right now. And also thinking about ourselves. And may we be open to opportunities when they arise. May we be aware of those opportunities that we can act to help in the relief of suffering if those opportunities should arise as well. And taking a deep clearing breath and continuing to look upon your screen with a relaxed gaze. I invite you to join me in the chanting of the mantra for Sri Sheetala Mata, the mother of the relief of suffering from epidemics. And the mantra that we'll be chanting is Om HLEEM, HLEEM, Sri Sheetalayai, Namaha. We invoke the goddess Sheetala, the healer. And may this mantra promote health, protection from diseases, and healing of mind, of body, and of spirit. Om HLEEM Sri Sheetalayai Namaha. 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 Sri Sheetalayai Namaha. Om HLEEM 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 Sri Sheetalayai Namaha. For the relief of suffering from those currently suffering from the measles outbreak, to their families, to their communities, for wisdom in our leadership, for helping people receive the information and the resources that they need, and most importantly, for ourselves. May our eyes be opened to opportunities where we can be helpful in this situation. May we recognize those opportunities and have the strengthened will and courage to act in those situations as well. Jai Ma Sheetala. Jai Ma Sheetala. Jai Ma Sheetala Devi. So this mantra can be helpful in protection from diseases. It can also, by tradition, be helpful in having a child, in promoting family happiness and prosperity, improving health, bringing peace and prosperity, protection from negative energies, transmitting positive energies, and the power of healing. Freedom from pain and suffering. The protection of children. Maintaining a pleasant atmosphere in the home. Economic growth. Special blessings from the Divine Mother. Happiness in one's family. Stability in life. And freedom from evils. Jai Ma Sheetala Devi Namaha. I want to thank you for joining me in this meditation. As always, I encourage you to spend some time in quiet contemplation before resuming the day's activities, and know that you can replay this broadcast and repeat this mantra anytime that you have need of this form of the Divine Mother's energies. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to you joining me Friday, 7 p.m. on YouTube, or in person at my temple, 1260 South Xavier Street in Denver, Colorado, for our monthly Cho practice for the healing of body, mind, and spirit, and the healing of the collective shadow. Until then, I wish blessings to everyone. Namaste. Blessings always. Thank you so much for joining me. And Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. And thank you so very much. Jai Ma.